For this movie, director Michael Daughtry describes Krampus in this film as Santa Claus's shadow. He says he's not the unstoppable monster that kicks down your door and rampages and grabs you. There's something darkly playful about him. He's having a good time doing what he does, and he enjoys the cat and mouse aspect of it. Over the last couple Christmases, I've started to put Krampus on my watch list, mainly because I just find it to be a really fun, campy movie. Here are the things I like about this movie, but there are some things that disappointed me, but I'll save those for the end of the review. First thing I liked about this movie was how it starts as a strictly Christmas movie and then shifts into horror. I think was a really smart move by the director. You just don't expect this huge switch in the story, and it's kind of what makes the movie engaging. It kind of throws you for a loop. I would love to see more Christmas movies like Krampus. I would actually be okay with a sequel to Krampus. I don't think we're going to get one, but I would love it. Just because it's such a nice break in the traditional Christmas movies. There are so many great Christmas movies out there, but they're all pretty formulaic. None of them really tap into this side of Christmas. Second reason, I really liked Krampus's design in this movie. It really does follow the lore quite well. He just looks really good on screen. His presence speaks for itself. He is kind of scary, and I also read that this movie didn't use any CGI. It's all practically done, so Krampus was built. He looks really, really good for being practically done, and just the sheer size of him, I mean, what he symbolizes. He's actually quite a big deal in Germany. They actually hold a festival specifically for when Krampus comes, because Germans definitely take this folklore very seriously. I am proud to be German, and I should definitely look into this tradition a little more because I find it actually extremely fascinating. I want to talk about the ending just a little bit, so if you haven't seen this movie, skip over this part. But I always thought the ending of this movie is very interesting because at the very beginning of the movie, Max wishes that everything was back to the way it used to be. I would consider this to be a happy ending. I mean, I know it's a horror movie. Horror movies don't generally have happy endings. But in this case, I actually think this movie ended on a good note. The whole family is together. I'd boldly say that this movie actually has a happy ending because Max got exactly what he wanted. So here are the things that disappointed me about this movie. I know it's a horror movie. I felt like it leaned too strong into the comedic aspects of it. I didn't really find any of the creepy toys in the movie that scary. Krampus was the only thing I found scary, to be honest. The only other toy that I found to be kind of scary was that big Jack-in-the-Box thing. I don't know what it's actually called. I know it's got a German name for it, but that thing kind of creeped me out. But everything else, I didn't take it seriously. A lot of people bash this movie because it is kind of like a Gremlins ripoff. I wanted to be scared in this movie, and I really, really wasn't. Krampus is a character you should take seriously, but everything else, the elves and all the other strange, weird-looking toys, I couldn't help laughing in certain scenes because I felt it was actually really funny and not scary. And I actually would have been okay with this movie being rated R. There's nothing in this movie that warrants a PG-13 rating when it comes to scariness. I can say that right now. I would have loved to just see an R-rated version of Krampus because I think Krampus is the character you can get away with that with. And it's definitely one of those things where if the rating was changed, I would have liked this movie more. Those were the only two things I didn't like about this movie. I highly recommend, if you've never seen Krampus before, definitely check it out because I think you're going to find it to be quite entertaining. So for Krampus, I'm going to give it a 6.5 out of 10 Mudflap. So remember, leave me a thumbs up and drop in the comments below. Are there any weird Christmas figures out there that people have never heard of that you really like? See you next time.